Hello my dear children, I hope today all of you have performed well. Your biology exam was very good. The question paper was very good, excellent, fully based on NCERT book, though few questions were little bit tricky and one or two questions were lengthy compared to the marks. But overall the question paper was very good and all of you have performed well and giving the information that NCERT book thorough reading and the understanding is highly required to score good in the examination. Some of you have requested me to discuss the question paper, so I am discussing the paper code 57 by 3 by 1, that means set 1, the MCQ portion. Let's start. First question, the part of the ovule that develops into protective coats of a seed after fertilization in a typical flowering plant is embryo sac, nucellus, integument and the megaspore. Definitely it will be the megaspore, integument, sorry. It will be the integument because testa and the tegmen, these two seed coats, testa the outer one, outer integument gets converted to testa and the inner integument gets converted to tegmen. So that is given from the book Integument of the Ovules Hardened Tough Protective Seed Coat. Okay. So this is the line from the NCERT book. Next. A DNA fragment has 2000 nucleotides, out of which 140 are adenine. How many bases does the DNA segment possess that have triple hydrogen bonds between them? This is a very tricky question and you have to understand. It is solely based on Chargaff's rule. That is, the proportion was also based on the observation of Erwin Chargaff that for a double-stranded DNA, the ratio between adenine and the thymine and the guanine and the cytosine are constant and equals 1. So, let's solve it. So, the question is that as per Chargaff's rule, what we know, that is adenine forms double hydrogen bond with the thymine. Number of adenine equals to thymine, and in the question it is given, that is the number of hydrogen adenine is given. I think it is 140. Yes, right. That is the number of adenine 140. So the thymine will also be 140. So 140 if we add, that means total 280. That is between them double hydrogen bond present. Total number of nucleotides 2000. So the nitrogen bases, total nitrogen bases, that is 2000. So they are responsible for forming double hydrogen bonds. So we have to subtract 2000 minus 280, that is 1720. These 1720, that is responsible for the triple hydrogen bond, that is the cytosine and the guanine. See here, for one triple hydrogen bond, how many nitrogen bases are involved? For one triple hydrogen bond, how many bases are involved? C and G, that is 2 nitrogen bases are involved. 2 bases are involved for one triple hydrogen bond. Pair is not asked in the question. So here you see how many bases, not the base pair. So the answer will be 1720. Here, if in the question paper given how many base pairs, then it could be 1720 divided by 2. But here the base pair is not asked. For one triple hydrogen bond, how many base? 2 bases. So simply no division by 2. Simply we have to write down 1720. So that is a tricky question. So the correct answer will be C, 1720. I hope this part is clear. Now the next one. During the 1850s, in the pre-industrialization era, important point, in England, the expected effect of the natural selection on the number of dark wing moths as compared to the white wing moth was more in number, less in number, both were equal in number, both were less in number. That will be, the dark wing moth will be less in number because they were pre-industrialization, less pollution. So before industrialization, it was observed that there were more white wing moths on the trees than the dark wing, so, or the melanized moth. So the dark wing moths were less. I hope the answer is clear to you. NCERT book question again. Next, in which one of the following floral plants are many embryos formed in the seeds without fertilization of the egg cell? Black pepper, mustard, groundnut, citrus. So correct answer will be citrus. See the NCERT book, what is written. More often as many in citrus and the mango varieties, some of the nucellar cells surrounding the embryo sac start dividing, protrude into embryo sac and develop embryos. So that is from the NCERT book question. Next, a snapdragon plant bearing pink color flower is crossed with a snapdragon plant bearing white color flower. The expected phenotypic percentage of the offspring is. So it is a case of incomplete dominance. So for the pink color, the genotype will be capital R, small r, and for the white color, the genotype will be small r, small r. It is for the pink color, it is for the white color. So the gametes will be capital R, small r, and here the gametes will be smaller and the smaller. Now with the help of checkerboard, we can solve it very easily, right? Capital R, smaller, 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 capital R, smaller, capital R, smaller, 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 smaller. Now here you see capital R, smaller, capital R, smaller, that is for the pink. How many? 2. Smaller, smaller, that is for the white. How many? 2. That means 1:1, 15:50 ratio. So the answer will be the pink and the white 15:50 ratio. Clear? Now the next one. In which of the given chromosomal disorders does the individual have tall stature with feminized character? It will be Klinefelter, not Down syndrome, Turner syndrome or the Edwards syndrome. Klinefelter, that is NCERT book, what is written you see. The genetic disorder, overall masculine development, however the feminine development of the breast. So the answer will be Klinefelter syndrome. Again NCERT book line. Now S.L. Miller in 1953, to support the theory of chemical evolution, created condition in a conical flask that included CH3O2 NH3H water vapor at 1800 degrees centigrade, then methane, hydrogen, ammonia, water vapor at 800 degrees centigrade, and the next one you see the carbon dioxide is written, sulfur dioxide is written, so not possible, and 800 and the ammonia, hydrogen, methane. So the correct answer will be option B, 7B. Here you see the NCERT book line, the screenshot, methane, H2, ammonia and the water vapor at 800 degrees centigrade. Next, in an experiment, E. coli is grown in a medium containing NH4Cl. N14 is the light isotope of nitrogen, followed by growing it for 6 generations, total 6 generations, in a medium containing heavy isotope. So up to 6 generations in heavy isotope. Okay, after 6 generation the DNA was extracted and subjected to cesium chloride density gradient centrifugation. Identify the correct density, light, hybrid and heavy, and the ratio of brand DNA in cesium chloride gradient centrifugation. This is a little bit tricky question, I must say. Here you see, that is what you have learned in your NCERT book. That is, first they were allowed to grow in the heavy medium, that is the N15 in your NCERT book, and the generation 1 all were hybrid, 100% hybrid in F1 generation, N14, N15, clear. Then after that it is continued generation 2, generation 1 all hybrid 100%, generation 2 that hybrid and the light in the ratio of 1:1. But here after that also, if it is continued as in the medium which is available, that to be considered. In our case, what is given, that is, it was given heavy isotope, that is the N15 isotope. It was in a medium containing N15 nitrogen, allowed to grow for 6 generation. So how many DNA segments will be formed after 6 generation? That is first generation 2, first generation 2, second generation 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, then will be 8. So that will be, the formula will be 2 to the power n. In this case, up to 6 generation, 2 to the power 6, that is 64. Total 64 DNA segments will be formed after 6 generation. Regarding this, no confusion. Now here you see that in the first generation, initially that was the NH4Cl, and here the N was 14. Then when it was allowed to grow containing the medium N15 in the generation 1, all were hybrid, that is the N14, N15 type in generation 1, first generation, all hybrid, that is 100% hybrid. This concept is clear. Then after that, in the medium N14, light isotope of the nitrogen, not available, not available, clear. So no more hybrid segment, no more hybrid segment. So in the beginning it was 2, after that also that will be 2, after the third generation that will be 2 hybrid segment, after fourth generation also the hybrid segment will be 2. So up to 6th generation the hybrid segment will be hybrid, that is the N14, N15 type, will be 2 in number. It is clear, because in the medium it is not available, N14 is not available. So all the DNA segments will be N15 type after the first generation. First generation 100% hybrid, that the number will be 2. Clear? Now the next onwards, up to 6th generation, what will be formed? 64 minus 2, that is 62. 62 will be N15 type, that is the heavy one. So now hybrid is to heavy. Heavy means N15 type. Hybrid means N15 type. Will be 2:62. That means 1:31. This you have to understand, because in the it was allowed to grow in a medium containing N15 isotope of the nitrogen. So after generation N14 is not available. So the answer will be hybrid will be 1, heavy will be, actually hybrid will be 2 and the heavy will be 62. So the ratio will be 1:31. So the correct answer will be C. hybrid is to heavy equals to 1 is to 31. So this is really a tricky question. Now the next one. Which disease is the patient suffering from who is showing symptoms such as sustained high fever 39 to 40 degrees centigrade, stomach pain, constipation, headache, loss of appetite and the weakness, pneumonia, malaria, typhoid, amoebiasis. The Salmonella typhi, pathogenic, typhoid, sustained high fever, weakness, stomach pain, constipation, headache. That is the pure NCERT book line has been given. So the answer will be typhoid. No confusion at all. Now the next question. Which native plasmid did Stanley Cohen and the Hubbard Boyer use for the construction of the first recombination DNA? That is Salmonella typhimurium, NCERT book line. So the correct answer will be Salmonella typhimurium. Clear? Next. Which of the following represents the correct annealing of primer to the DNA to be amplified in the PCR? See, this side 5 dash 5 dash, not possible. This side 5 and it is 3. It is possible. Here also 5 3. Here 3 3, not possible. Next one you see 5 5. Annealing, not possible. So the correct answer will be B. It is given in the NCERT book, amplification of gene of interest in the PCR. Okay. Now the next one. The population growth curve applicable for a population growing in a geometric fashion when the resources are not limiting. Here see, the resources are not limiting in a habitat. This line is very important. Will be, if it is limited, then this one, but it is not limiting. So this one, not limiting. So the correct answer will be C, this curve. Next, assertion reasoning. Primary transcripts in eukaryotes are subjected to splicing to remove the introns. It is true. Primary transcript contains both exons and introns, and the introns are non-functional in eukaryotes. Yes, it is true and it is the correct explanation. So the option will be A. Next one, the chronic use of alcohol by a person leads to cirrhosis. Okay, that is related to the liver. Alcohol, it is true. Alcohol addiction at times becomes the cause of mental and the financial distress to the entire family of the addicted family. It is also true, but not the correct explanation of cirrhosis, right? So here the answer will be B. Not both are true, but not the correct explanation. See, cirrhosis, this is the line given from the book, and then the person becomes mental and the financial distress. That is also exactly copied from the NCERT book. That is, both are true but not the correct explanation. So the option will be B. And the first question also, that is, you see how important the NCERT book, that from the beginning I tell you study thoroughly, and understanding of NCERT book is highly required. Now the question number 15. The zygote gives rise to heart-shaped embryo and subsequently pro-embryo in most angiosperms. Just opposite. A dicotyledonous embryo, zygote gives rise to pro-embryo and subsequently globular heart-shaped embryo. So just opposite. So the assertion is false. Assertion is false means it will be D. Is not it? For this, the correct answer will be D, because here the assertion is false. It is false. Now the question number 16. The starter facilitates the even mixing of oxygen availability in the bioreactor. It is true. Start tank bioreactor generally have a flat base. No, it does not have a flat base. It has a curved base. NCERT book line. So the option will be, what are the option? I think it will be C, no? C is assertion is true. Yes, it is true, but it is false. Is not it? Assertion is true and the reason is false. So the correct option for this will be C. I hope the MCQ part for the set 1 is absolutely clear to you, and it gives me the impression that NCERT book thorough reading, line by line reading, and the understanding of each and every line is highly required. God bless you.